Hey everybody, it's Professor Diffley. This is Philosophy 201, Ethics in the Modern World. This is an overview video about the final position paper for our class for fall 2021. So what the final paper is due by the end of 12/22. Again, by the end of the day, just have to have it uploaded. It's, same process as uploading as the first two position papers. One thing you noticed here in the assignments, position papers and final, I created a new folder, a new folder for the final position paper. In here is the actual assignment. Again, to access it, you just click on that. And that's where you would upload. Again, upload the paper, same thing as last time, the last two times. You can see the requirements here. I'll come back to that. But a couple other things. There's going to be these list of sources, which I'll get to in a minute, that you can use for topics. But let's just go over the paper and some comments there, and then we'll look at the sources, and I'll talk about that as we get there. So again, here's the requirements here. Same as last time with the submitting via Blackboard. The papers, obviously, if you're going to submit them digitally, they got to be typed, all that. 750 word count minimum. In the syllabus, you might notice that I said it was going to be longer than that, but for the final, I just decided to make it the same length as the other ones. Most of you are writing over 750 anyway, and you're even when you're covered, you might not be reaching what I was originally going to think, a little bit longer, but you're definitely covering the topic. So 750 is the minimum word count. Again, answering your own words. Everything is checked for plagiarism. You must use citations. A lot of you are not using citations. You need to provide these in the paper. What some of you are doing are just giving me a works cited list or page, which doesn't make sense if you didn't actually use any citations in the paper. Point of citations are to put them in a paper, right, after a sentence or after a paragraph, to tell us, the reader, what sources you relied upon for that sentence, that quote, that paragraph. So you need to actually put the citations in the body of the paper. I'm not asking for a works cited page. You can give it if you want, but that's not enough. You got to put the citations in there. So make sure you do that. Again, don't cite to lecture slides or my lecture videos. You could cite to the required videos or the textbook or any of these other articles that I've given to you down here. Again, don't use Wikipedia. That's just a rule in the class. Again, pick one of the applied topics below. I got a list here. If you want to and you have a topic that I didn't list, you want to cover it, just email me and we'll talk about the topic that you want. Obviously, if you're going to pick your own topic, it can't be one of the ones we've already covered. So like simulated killing or eating animals, nothing you've already written a paper on. Pick one of the topics below. And, again, choose a position on the question you selected, right? You got to come out with an answer there. Very important. Analyze that question using all three of the major theories here, ethical theories. Some of you are, on the first paper, a lot of you didn't do that. You might only picked one. The second paper, just about everybody got to use all of them. But on this, I want to be clear on this. The biggest issue I'm seeing so far is you guys definitely understand the topics and understand the theories. That's not a question. It's how much of the analysis you work out and show in the paper that you're not doing enough of. So you'll see in the comments, especially this last paper, I'm saying you got to go more into this. For utilitarianism, a lot of you are covering it just in one broad scope. But remember, there's different branches of it, right? There's Act, there's Rule, Bentham, Mills. You need to touch on those. You need to explain those and differentiate between them in your paper. Make sure to do that. So you could either do that in an individual paragraph or, for each one or somehow tie them together. But you need to go through all those. If Singer applies, then you would have to talk about him in utilitarianism. But you can't just talk about it in a broad scope. You got to get into all those separate parts. That's one of the biggest issues seeing with people when they deal with utilitarianism. Again, for Kantian ethics, again, everybody gets it. Clearly, you guys know the material. Problem is, again, in the paper with Kantian ethics is not really going through the full argument of it. Right? You got to talk about what's the practical imperative, all the different imperatives. You need to talk about duties, right, and how we what we have to do and what we owe to each other, right? So when we talked about animals, even simulated killing, part of the thing would have been, we don't have direct duties to the animals or a video game character, But we do have indirect duties because they connect back to how we interact with people. A lot of you didn't explain that. You just kind of said, you just kind of jumped to the end. Make sure you explain everything through there. So go through step by step through Kantian ethics. Go back to the other chapters that we covered on them, the slides, all of that. So go through. And that's really what you need to be doing here is really applying these 3 schools to the question topic you pick. They're really, really important to go through that. For virtue ethics, again, explain it. Show me that you know what it is, right? You're getting there to the conclusions, but you guys, again, are not, and I'm harping on this for a reason, everybody's not really going through the full analysis. So make sure you do, because there are important parts to that there. Again, discuss each main school separately. Some of you merge some of them together and it gets a little confusing. It doesn't really work. They're different. There's 3 of them. They're different for a reason. Go with that. So for the rest of this, again, so you choose a position, analyze it using all 3, then argue in favor of your position. Using most of you find out that you believe in one of these ethical schools over another, and that's really what you're basing your opinion on. But your analysis on, not your opinion, your analysis on. But make that clear, right? So say if you favor that you believe euthanasia is ethical, well, explain why, which theory backs your views. And if you want to use another one covered in the class, you can. But these are the 3 ones I'm holding you to use there. Again, anticipate opposing arguments and argue against them, right? So make sure you do this. Some of you didn't do this in the video game, Simulate Killing. Most of you did. But you have to say, what would the others say? Some of you say, well, the setting doesn't matter if it's fantasy or if it's a GTA-style game, right? A fantasy being like you're killing aliens or monsters or something like that. But you didn't fully consider others, right? You say, well, those particular settings don't matter, so it doesn't matter. But there's more to it, right? I mentioned this. What if it's asking you to kill people of a certain race, the game? If it's a certain sex or gender or, anything like that, that's part of it too. So you got to really think those out, cover as much as you can, anticipate the other ones. So again, a big takeaway there is really just go through these in detail. Make sure you talk about the different branches of utilitarianism and really explain how Kantian and all of them work there. So applied ethics topics. You see I have a list here. You got euthanasia and assisted suicide, abortion, ethics of pandemic-related restrictions. Is it ethically permissible to conduct gene editing, especially before birth? Human enhancement, chimera research. What this is really about is creating creatures that are a mix of human DNA and non-human DNA. There's been we do this to mice to make them their immune systems more like humans, so we can test drugs on them. And you might have seen this talked about recently in the pandemic. Other attempts have been made to use animals to grow human organs or limbs or something like that. They've actually been able to do this with ears and possibly some other organs. And so what is the ethics of creating an animal like that you're only harvesting? Well, one that you're creating, you're playing God, essentially, of creating a new species that's part human, part animal. And you're also then creating them just for the purpose of harvesting something from them, right? So it's somewhat similar to the animals. That part is similar to the eating animals, but there's much more to it about, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should, right? When it comes to science, things like that. So, but yeah, go through that. And then is it ethically permissible to create true AI? Essentially a new form of life, that's sentient, self-aware, and is it similar? Is it okay to chimera? Is it, okay to play God? That sort of thing. So you can go through those and look at that. And then I also gave you some sources to look at here. Now, the big thing with this paper is different than the other ones. There's no slideshow. There's no chapter that walks you through and really telegraphs the analysis that you need to make. That was the whole point of position paper 1 and 2 was practicing that, right? I kind of laid out how you would go through it, and then a lot of you, took that and then built upon it, which was exactly what you wanted to do. For this one, you really now have to do this on your own. Sure, you understand how to, I know you know the theories, now apply them, show it doing that. So again, the main difference here is that you're going to have to do a lot of that analysis straight on your own there. And that's what I'm really looking for here. Again, your answers as to whether or not you agree with, say euthanasia or abortion, if you think it's ethical or unethical, I'm not grading you on that. You don't. Your views on those don't have to match mine. That's not what the grade is on. It's about how you know, how well you know the theories and how you apply them and how your analysis is. We can disagree on whether something's ethical or unethical. What I really care about is your thought process. That's what I'm testing you on here. So just make sure you know that there's no right or wrong answer. So, but it's really how you apply them is what the focus should be. So to the topics here, I gave you, these are all links out to articles that cover these topics. Some of them will give you some with genetic, will give you topics to focus on issues within them. Some of them do and do not go into, the breakdown of the different theories the way I did in some of the videos and lecture slides in the book. But some of them a little bit will. The Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, once you're there, actually, let's go to it real quick. Just so you can see, this is a really good website. It's this is all written by professional philosophers, professors and things like that. But see here, ethics, abortion ethics. You could also search some of these topics in there. I pulled the ones I could find and put them into the list. But you could also search here, and also bring up keywords. You'll find that some of them, like abortion, doesn't really have some of them don't always have a full page like human enhancement is. They might be talked about another page, but if you search it, if you really want to go beyond what I'm giving you, you can do that here. So yeah, these sources, again, for each topic here, I have things for you to look at. You'll see I made some notes, but these will help you. Again, I think, as you can see, you don't have to use all these. But if you are going to do, whatever topic, you should be using at least one or two of these. I'm not holding you. You don't have to use the whole list if you're doing euthanasia. The BBC ones are usually really good. The Stanford, like I said, some of these ones from, Health New York, some of them are, this is a really good news site, Stat News, which is on medical stuff. Some of these are from universities, colleges, so they're meant for students too, a lot of them. Some of them are more reports and some are more scholarly articles, but none of them are super long. Even this one, it comes up as really long, hundreds of pages, but it's like a PDF textbook. So you can just, again, here, I tell you where to look for things like that. So yeah, that's really it. These again have some guiding for research. You can do your own research if you like. But again, I tried to help you out with this. We didn't have as long. It's a rush semester, as you know. It's a shortened semester. So, if this was a long semester, we would have done a little bit more on the research part of this. But so I tried to give you some help there. Again, the only difference between these two is one's in PDF, one's in a Word document. That's really the only difference between them. So yeah, please take a look at the assignment. Go through the topics. You have any questions, just let me know. Reach out, email me. We can talk via email or do a Google Zoom chat, whatever works best. But yeah, just again, this isn't really. It's just the final paper. It's it's worth a little bit more, but it's really doing the same thing you did on the first and second position papers. Again, I know you guys know the material. Now it's just refining your analysis and how you apply them. Everybody done very well. And getting better. Just about everybody. I think everybody improved, and usually improved a good amount between position paper 1 and position paper 2. So I expect you to do that again. I know you guys. I got confidence in you, and so keep up the good work. And again, don't hesitate to reach out. All right, good luck, and hope you all had a good semester. It was great having you. I wish we could have been in person. I would have loved to have these talks and debates in person. I think that that would have been better, but here we are with the pandemic and we're home. But either way, it was really a pleasure to have you all in the class. I hope you got something from this. Hope you enjoyed it. And again, best of luck. All right, thanks.